Hi friends, this is Leela. Welcome to my channel Leela Web Dev. In this video, we will learn about the another join creation operator, that is race. What is this race? Race, the name itself indicates that racing, something like that. So whichever the observable finishes first, that observable will be picked up, and whatever the values coming from that observable, it will be taken into consideration. So that is nothing but the race. Returns an observable that mirrors the first source observable to emit an item. So that means what it is telling is returns an observable that mirrors the first source observable to emit an item. That means whichever the source observable first emits an item, so that observable will be taken into consideration and it will allow all the values that are coming from that observable. So that is the definition of this race. Let's see the marble diagram for this one. Now here we have a 3 source observables. One is emitting 20, 40, 60, 1, 2, 3 and 0, 0, 0. Out of these 3 source observables, what is the observable that is first emitting the values? That is nothing but the middle observable. So one is the value that is emitted first by the second observable. Now as this emitted the first value first time, this observable will be taken into the consideration by the race. So that has won the race. So this has won the race. So that is the reason. So this observable is taken into consideration and all the values that are emitted by this observable will be taken into consideration. So that is the reason we are able to see in the output observable 1, 2 and 3 is the output. Whoever wins the race means nothing but whoever first emits the value, first produces the value, that observable will be taken into consideration, and that observable, whatever the values that are released by that observable, so those values will be released. So this is the direct straightforward definition for the race. And here you will be able to see some discussion, some details of this one. Race returns an observable that when subscribes to all the source observer immediately. So whatever the source observable that has been given to the race immediately subscribes to all the source observable immediately, it seems. As soon as one of the source observable emits a value, if any of the source observable emits a value, the result unsubscribe from the other sources. The remaining all observables are unsubscribed and only that observable will be subscribed. So that is the thing they are saying. If one of the user source observable throws an error, so whatever the source observable we are taking into consideration, if it throws an error, if one of the user source emits error, because before a first notification the race operator will also throw an error, no matter if another source observer could potentially win the race. Race can be useful for selecting the response from the fastest network connection for HTTP or web service. So race can be also used for switching observable context based on user input. Okay, this is the about this race. Now let's try to see the practical implementation. Now I am creating here race operator. Now here let's close these all things and let's open operator.component.html, and here I am adding the race, and here I will use the race. Okay, now if I try to go to the app routing module.ts, and here what I can say is, so let's go to this one, let's close this one. Yeah, so there are so many operators we have discussed up to now. So race, and this one will be race operator component. Okay, and let's go to the race operator component, and here let's assume that we have 3 sources. Let source $1 is equal to, let's take interval. So this one will emit value for every second. So this one starts value for every 1 second, and let's assume that we have another one with source 2. So this one will emit value for every 3 seconds, and another one we have another one source 3. This emits for every 5 seconds. Now if I do the race for this one, source $1 comma source, let's add this one race, let's add this one in the race. It should be imported from the RxJS, you need to remember. Source $3 comma, if you want you can give source $2 also, you can give source $2. Okay, dot subscribe, and you can subscribe to this one, and let's print the values. Okay, if I try to print the values, let's try to see what are the values is printed. Now if I go to the operators, and if I go to the operators, and here if I click on the race, we are able to get 0, 1, 2, 3 like this we are getting, but here we are not able to we are not sure that which interval is sending the values. Now let's try to do pipe of map. Okay, I am adding a map operator, so this one will return the value in a such a way that I can write in a first one, and here I will add the v. This is the map operator, and in the same scenario I will add it here, and I will add it here also, and this one will be second one, so that we will be able to know which observable is it's taken into consideration. We already know that this source 1 is the observable which is emitting first data. Within 1 second it will release. This source 1 will be taken into consideration, but let's try to see it. Third one. Okay, if you try to see the output, and here if you have seen, first one has won the race, so that is the reason only the first one is taken into consideration. Okay, this is how we will be able to get the output. So here race, what it is does is, out of these 3 observables, which observable emits first time the data, that observable will be taken care into consideration, and remaining all observables will be unsubscribed automatically. So that is the reason they are saying. Okay, so this is the thing. For example, if I throw here something like what I can say is throw error. Here I will be throwing an error. Throw error. We will throw an error. Let's try to see. Let's throw an error. Tap. Let's tap it, and let's throw the error. Let's try to see. Let's try to throw the error. Okay. Let's try to throw the error. Now we are throwing error for source 2. Now if you try to see the output, what will happen? Let's try to see. So second observable is throwing the error, but first observable we are getting the data. Let's try to see what will happen. But second observable is throwing the error, right? So it is not taking into consideration. For example, if the same scenario, what I can say is, if the first observable is throwing the error, then what will happen? Let's try to see. If it throws the error, first observable, now let's try to see. Whatever the thing, whether it may be a value or it may be error, whichever releases, whichever emits first, that source will be taken into consideration. So this is the thing I want to explain you. Let's move it to a part. Yeah, so now whatever the source 2, source 3, if they throws the error also, they are throwing error after this source were emitted the value. So that is the reason race will take only source 1 and it unsubscribes to source 2 and source 3. So that is the reason if this source 2 and source 3 emits the error also, it is not taking into consideration. So that is the thing about the race. Hope you understood about this race operator. If you have any doubts or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.